Oh, night hello, Blank. Yes, hello. There will be no Michael, as he is out of town. He's celebrating birthday with family, so he'll be gone this whole week. I think he comes back like Sunday evening, so he'll be around Sunday. But just maybe a little bit after we start, so. But his flight was delayed going out, so I'm wondering if it'll be delayed coming in too. I think if I had to take a guess, he's flying Sun Country. And Sun Country is great for price, but it's a crapshoot. I've had one, maybe two really good flights with Sun Country that we got really lucky with. Like, we were very first row. There's no first class on Sun Country flights. We were very first row, and there's a surprising amount of legroom. Like, you could actually put your legs straight out, like to get to the wall in front of you, and nobody sat between us, so it ended up being like surprisingly roomy. And it left on time. That was probably the best Sun Country flight I've ever had. But I've had so many others where, like, when I went to Vegas for a work trip, I got at the airport, I think it was like 2-something hours before my flight, and I didn't have my ticket yet because you weren't allowed to print it beforehand, or even get it yet. And so I went to the counter where you would do your bag checks, and there was no lady there, nobody at all. And the person next to that one for a different airline was like, oh yeah, they don't show up until like an hour before the flight. And I'm like, oh, so I can't wait inside security because I haven't got my ticket. So I have to wait outside security, which is like, there's nothing back out there. So I'm like, okay, whatever. A bunch of other people showed up in a rush to get on a flight that apparently were supposed to have a flight an hour before mine. Were never notified. Nobody on the flight was notified that their flight was merged with the later flight. So they all got there thinking they're going to be late. Nobody's there to tell them that. And they're all in a panic, only for, again, the person next to it in a whole different company to tell them, okay, yeah, so this is normal for Sun Country. We'll help you. And they were not even the same airline. It was so stupid. I can't be too angry. Sun Country is based out of Minnesota. All the planes are named after Minnesota lakes, but still, they're trash. Since Michael's not here, you're now Michael. He's here now. I'm Michael. I love the Queen and Derpy. Derpy, derpy, derpy. Mares, mares, and butts.
I'm British.
Yeah, look at that little horse. Oh my god. Oh my god. Look at the mare. Ooh. I don't think I can keep that up all night. That was tough as it was. I need a drink though. I'm gonna go grab a drink. I'll be back in a minute. I'm back. Love this emote, drunk ponies. I like emotes that have use. I try to do that. Like there's so many, like Discord, you can have so many emotes, so you can have a little bit of fun and make some random weird ones. But like, if people don't use it, it's because it's not usable. It's like, oh, that's a funny emote. But when would you ever use it? Like, yeah, Derpy Butt Shake, that one's popular. Used to be the most popular emote on the channel, but now it's across other channels, but it's definitely the Pinky Wave now. I've been meaning to go and update that Pinky Wave one, so it's an actual seamless loop. Yeah. And that one only makes sense if you know what it is, because I think for anybody that doesn't know what we did, they would look at that and go, what the hell is that? Surprisingly, you know, a lot of detail in that little thing. Little horse. I'm gonna grab like a Truly lemonade, and I for some reason thought I grabbed the cherry, and then I tasted it and I'm like, that's not cherry. I thought it was bad. No, it's tropical. This was the one I grabbed. I'm just forgetting. Oh, I haven't even got my music up. I did set up something on here I'm gonna try. It's probably not gonna have any effect today, but it's more for on game stream nights. I set up ducking on the audio for the stream, so if we're talking, whatever audio is going on in the game will be reduced, so that it makes it a little easier to hear us talking if the volume is up a bit more. Means we can put the game louder and not have it like kill us in terms of the audio. I have to still do some testing with it first, though. Finally got on the Discord. Yeah, I saw that you joined. Just lost my old account in the process. How'd you lose your old account? I'm gonna check on there too. Okay, you have the you have your Discord and Twitch linked because I saw you got the roles on there. Grab my email and password for it. You figure out your password, but if forgetting your email. Why did you forget your email? How many emails do you have? I have two main emails, and then I have an old Hotmail that I use as a spam account. But I also do have I have an email account for the Rathlos, mainly so that I had a separate login for it. Twitter used to have this weird thing you could do where you could set up the same email for multiple accounts. There was like a character you could put in that would identify the email as a unique email, though technically when it would go to email you and contact you for anything, it would go to that other email, like the one. It was like you add like a pound sign at the end of the email, like .com pound. I can't remember what it was. And so you could technically make multiple accounts with the same email. But the problem was I could never remember how that was set up later. And eventually I figured it out, and then I just gave him his own email. A lot, unfortunately. Yeah, I only have two main ones. I have my, what I would call my business and my personal. I have the one that's my screen name that I use for generally anything gaming, anything YouTube, anything like that. And then I have one that's more my like personal one that I use for like if I need to get like bank account stuff or contractors for something of getting done at the house or something like that type of stuff. I have that stuff separated between the two. It's usually just easier. Trying to spell my like Argo Daemon name to somebody on the phone is difficult, but the other email is mostly my name with other junk. It's just so much easier. And it's just nice to have things kind of split. I don't want to put Argo Daemon on a resume to like a company either. That was actually the reason I started doing it, and I don't regret it. So yeah, I have technically 4 emails then, but I only really use 2. Okay, I think we're good. Like I said, there's going to be no Michael. Mostly because it kind of just worked out. Because I'm back to the old camera. I didn't even put my blue light on. Just that thing's bright enough in this camera that got HDR or whatever, so it can pick up some stuff. Actually, if I turn these lights off, you can actually like see everything. It's kind of crazy. Gonna keep them on because I don't like spending forever setting stuff up, and so I have a button under my desk that's tied to a power strip, and when I hit it, it turns on all the lights and the microphones. So it means that if I turn off the lights, I turn off the microphones too. But I don't like having to go like switch. Nope. I just hit one button and everything just turns on. So much easier. That one doesn't turn on. The thing behind me. That's separate. Anyway, we're gonna see what we can get done today. There's no Michael, so it's probably a little quieter. Because he's nice for the background conversations when I get in the zone. It's convenient to have. Yeah, well, it was more of, for a while, it would take me like 20 to 30 minutes sometimes to set up for stream. I'd have to get everything set up, and I had a microphone that was just going to stand on the desk, which if you go back to the streams back then, the audio was absolutely horrendous. So I'd have to get that out, and I would have to get everything kind of set up, and I hated it because it just demotivated me from streaming because I was spending so much time prepping. Right now, with how I have everything set up, it takes me, I think, 3 to 4 minutes to get set up from nothing. I just have to split because I have an ultra wide monitor. I can do picture in picture. So it separates into a normal like 16:9 and then like a 9:16. And so I can move that over there. The stream computer is always on. All I have to do is click across the bottom for all the different icons that are there. While those are loading, I can hit a button, turn on the switch on my wall for the lights behind me, turn on the ceiling light, and by then things will be up on the screen and I can just like move them around and I'm good. It's really quick. Green screen takes longer. That I bought like this big what do they call this thing? Dress. It's not a dresser. What? It's like it's a thing you can sit on that's padded and you can open it. I don't know. It's a thing. It's a padded thing, and I got that specifically because it's black. It matches. Fills in that spot of the wall. But then I can open it and I can put all the stands in. A seesaw? No. Where would you get a seesaw? No, it's like you'd put it at the end of the bed. That's like it's shorter than the bed, so you can kind of sit on something and normally can open. But no, not a futon. I can see it being. It's like a wide futon. Why am I having a problem thinking this word? It depends. Like a seesaw might be like a name for that a certain area, not a cupboard. Yeah. Furniture you put at the end of a bed. Bad, whatever. Not a coffee table. It's kind of a bench, but there's a specific name for it. It's essentially a kind of bench-like. Come on, AI, you're supposed to help me here. What is a bench that stores things? Storage benches. No, that's not okay. It has a name. It's kind of like this. But I mean, I don't have like this weird little like whatever thing's coming up at the size, whatever those things are. I don't know. I'm having a blank. Cause yeah, it's basically like this. I've been saying one of those. Yeah, it's kind of. It just has like actual like hard substance that I got it so that I can shove things in it. And because before I was literally taking all my green screen like posts for all the green screen, and I was just laying it on the floor, and it was ugly. An ottoman bench, that actually is probably the best we're gonna do. So sure. But yeah, it's just really nice because yeah, before I was just sitting on the floor and it was ugly, and now it's really nice. You mean the thing that I put the limit on? It can't have it more peak watching LP while watching Argos streams. I don't know if that's peak. I mean, it's kind of doubling up on your horse. Where were we at? I think.
Promise you can.
Yeah, we haven't even started the shot. But this one should be done.
I can't fly.
Okay, I've already seen some stuff I want to fix here.
I can't fly. Thing like you, I can't fly. Thing like you, I can't fly. I can't fly.
Yeah, I kind of want to add. I want to modify some stuff here. I knew I was going to be able to see some stuff on the next time. For one, it feels really A to B, and what I mean by A to goes A B C D E. It feels very stepped, so I want to try to delay some stuff. Where's Michael Takeover? He's not here. I think he's like out in the middle of Nowhereville. He did send some pictures. Like they're staying at some cabin thing. But like the cabin has a pool. So it's pretty nice.
Thing like you, I can't fly. I can't.
I'm trying to like kind of feel like there should be a little bit of a delay here. Come on. Oh, sunset. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
I can't fly. I can't fly.
No, it's.
Thing like you, I can't fly. I can't.
I think I can just blend this a little bit more.
Can't.
From here to here. I think that's the two.
I can't fly.
Yeah.
Can't.
I think this needs to be blended a little bit more just to like smoothly go to it.
I can't fly. Like you, I can't fly. Can't fly. Fly. Can't fly. Can't.
Okay, she stops right here. I need to blend this a little bit more too to have her kind of just drift into it a bit more.
Can't fly. I can't fly. Can't fly. I can't fly. I can't fly.
Okay, and her head,
Can't.
it dips a little bit right here, and I really don't know if I want it to. It might be neck too. I want just a transition. It feels just a lot of dips.
Can't fly. Can't fly. Can't. I can't fly. Can't. Can't. Fly. I like you. I can't fly. You. I can't fly. Can't. Can't.
Let me see if maybe I'd keep her head over here a little bit more.
Can't fly. I can't fly.
Actually, yes, I like that.
Can't fly.
I just have to, I think I might actually just keep it how I just did it.
Can't fly.
Yep. I'm going to do that. We're going to move the eyes
Can't.
because right now it kind of forces over there a little early. I'm going to delay that. So we're going to just do this and we're going to shift it over. I don't want that bookmark moving to there.
Can't fly. I can't fly. Like you. I can't fly.
Yeah, that feels a lot better. It just felt too A to B. Now that makes one part that's not going as much keyframe to keyframe. It's a lot more of a blend between the two, or it feels like it. Much better. Remote Michael. I think we did that once before, but no, he's with his family, so he should be doing family. Well, he probably doesn't always want to be doing family stuff the whole time, but he's probably doing family stuff. If I do one of the other Michael redeems, do you have to fill it in then? Probably, but I'm not going to be as good at it. Ghost facts he probably will say are a lie though. I forgot those ones were Michael too.
Nothing like you. I can't fly. Fly.
Okay, so you do want to ghost fact. If he's not doing family stuff, he's probably looking at derpy memes or something. Yeah. He's always looking at not derpy memes, but at least derpy like anything. Images. Ghost fact. Here's a ghost fact. Ghosts see colors in the inverse. So they look at like everything they see is like in the negative. That's why they have like black eyes and like the white coats, because like they like it's just it's because they think that they're like really dark and black then, and like ooh spooky, and they can be hiding, but no, they're actually just bright white because everything's in the inverse. It's also why they go out at night, because at night it's brighter. Yeah, that's a ghost fact. They also process the inverse of what they see. I mean, like, is it upside down? Because in a way, we see the world upside down, because all the light comes in upside down and our brain flips it. So, I mean, you know, in a way, you hear about Ozzy Osbourne passing away. Yeah. One of my coworkers said that, which I told her like, wow, that I'm surprised he got to 76. He lived a hard life. She actually said too, I think the kid from Theo that played Theo in the Bill Cosby show. He also did a bunch of other stuff. He died recently in like a drowning accident. So, and she goes, it always comes in threes. There's one more coming. Cause you know, that's how the world works. And I told her, she goes, it's always celebrities die in threes. But I told her, it depends on where your line for celebrity is. Because if you really want, you could have 3 a day if you really thought about it. But I'm like, I don't know if I'd consider him a celebrity. She goes, oh no, he's done a bunch of other stuff. I'm like, yeah, but I haven't seen that. So to me, I don't see him as a celebrity, but you are. So you're drawing your lines.
I can't fly. I can't fly.
You can. I promise. You can. I promise.
Is her eye like doing a weird shake?
You can. You can.
No, it feels like it's doing like a weird shake here. But when I play it slow, it doesn't. Okay.
You can. You can. You can. You can. You can.
Something just feels off about her eye here. Maybe I'm just having it go down too far. Yeah, I think I'm having it go down too far. Oh, I know why it looks off. Because when I'm playing it really slow, I'm looking for when the eye is closing that I don't want any like white suddenly popping up at the top. It means that the eyeball's going down too fast. And here I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, it's fine. But when you actually hit play, I'm seeing white. And that's just because
You can.
I'm probably not going to pause it, right? But like even here, it's just that the eyes are a little delayed in how they do some of their transition and movements. So it's just slightly more open in the preview. When I actually render these, annoyingly enough, I have to go through here and basically say any shot where her eyes are closing, like right here, I'll have to render this frame, 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 all individually. As separate images after the automated bit goes through. Otherwise, you get frames that look like this. That's not how her eyes should look. It should look like that. So I had to grab this and wiggle it. So if I go and hit play again here, if I grab this and I just do a little wiggle around, it at least lets time pass enough and it'll fix it. So to fix that, I have to literally go to this shot, like go and wiggle it around so that the eyes are in their final position, then go into this, let it do its preview thing, render it out, and then go one over. I think you can just do tab.
You can.
Yeah, you can just do tab too. And I just keep doing that over and over again to render out each one manually. It's so annoying. I think it's one of the biggest reasons I liked playing with the new models. Just less annoyance. The actor for Theo, that was all over in the news this morning. I don't watch the news. I have a curated news feed I read that just tends to give me like tech stuff and like cat memes and stuff. And then that's it. I don't keep up on I keep up on big stuff in the world. Like I watch Daily Show sometimes, and I do run into some articles that are going over stuff. I watch a law channel that goes over some stuff and that's going on. But like TMZ type stuff, if a celebrity dies, I'm not being mean, but I just don't care.
Nothing like you. I can't fly.
You can. You can. You can. I promise.
Fly.
You can. I promise. You can. I promise. You can. You can. You can.
Actually, the one thing I did recently too, I finally caught up on Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel. I had not seen Has Been Hotel yet, and I was about all of season 2 behind on Hell of a Boss. I am now all caught up, only to be told that I have to wait another like 5 months for more content. Glad they're still making stuff though. Right, just saying he was fairly well known in that sense. Yeah, most of the stuff I've been watching in the last like however much time, like probably like 4 years of television, has all been older stuff. I've been going through like 90s and 2000s like sci-fi that I never got to watch or stuff. I did watch some newer stuff. Like I watched I would say all of Foundation, but now there's new episodes that just started coming out, so I have to catch up on that once that's fully out. But I mainly started watching that because the lead actor that plays like the smarty guy, he was also in The Expanse, and I really liked it, so I kind of wanted to watch it for that. Now I'm reading all the books from Asimov, so you know, really got me into it. I watched Raised by Wolves and For All Mankind. Those are 3 newer ones. Other than that, I've been more on older one. I think I'm kind of caught up on most of my stuff now because I finished Raised by Wolves. I think I might jump to Farscape. Maybe. I've been doing so much sci-fi though. I like sci-fi. So yeah, I think I might do that. Yay, love those shows. Yeah, Raised by Wolves was rough at the beginning, but season 2 really started getting good, and I actually really was enjoying it. And then I learned that they canceled it after season 2. So that sucks. But I love when they mix sci-fi and religion into some like weird like amalgamation. It's one of the reasons like Battlestar Galactica I thought was great, because it like had religion and sci-fi, but there's an aspect of the religion that was like this confusing amount of real to it, and where you're trying to figure out like, is there a God? Is there not a God? How is that working? It's really neat. And that's what I kind of liked about Raised by Wolves. For All Mankind, I thought was really good. I just like the alternate history and the fact that they started like in the 70s, the moon landing, and they're at like the year 2000 something, and they're literally every season's like a jump forward of like 8 to 10 years, and they're showing how the development of the space program would be if Soviets beat us to the moon. It's kind of a drama in some ways, but it's also just it's really good. I think the last season wasn't as good as some of the previous ones, but it was still really good. And then what was the other one I did? Foundation. I thought that was going to be the one I liked the least. It was probably the one I liked the most. And that's what got me reading Asimov's books. So I've read I, Robot. I've read Caves of Steel, The Naked Sun. I'm currently on The Dawn of Robots. I'm about halfway through that. And then I'm going to be reading Robots and Empire next. So I'm kind of burning through those. They're not super long books. I do have to go back to iRobot though, because I read iRobot, but I actually found the complete robot now, which is iRobot plus a bunch of short stories. And so I have to go back and read some of those. But for a sci-fi that was written in the 50s to 70s, it doesn't feel like it. He did a pretty damn good job. There's definitely some parts of like smoking a pipe and book films and storing information on film and still using a lot of paper. There was no phones or cell phones or anything, but a lot of that, the other stuff's pretty good. But yeah, I think I might start Farscape. How much Farscape is there? There was like 4 seasons. I'm not gonna look it up. It was like 4 seasons plus the Peacekeeper Wars. It shouldn't be too bad. Okay.
Promise you can. Promise you can.
Okay.
Promise you can.
Rainbow's neck feels stiff on this.
I promise you can. I promise.
If I blend that, it's just going to make her look really stiff.
Promise. Promise you can.
And I say it's going to look stiff because it fixed a little bit there, but it feels like her head doesn't move. It's like her neck is the only thing really moving, or like I don't know. It doesn't feel like her head's making much motion. That's what I'm thinking. If I do like this a little bit.
Promise you can. Promise you can.
I think I tried to fix this a bit before and I didn't have much luck. If anything, I can. What if I do this up here and her head tilted?
You can.
That feels a bit better
Promise you can.
because it's then using her head to twist. That feels better. Asimov was a physicist. He's considered the grandfather of AI as he explored the logic further than anyone else. Yeah, he definitely asks a lot of questions that were like, he developed the laws of robotics, like the first law, the second law, the third law. And then he found every way possible to get around it. Where, like the idea of, or like a robot that almost killed himself because he could read minds and, sci-fi. Yeah, the robot was able to read minds. And so they would ask him questions and they would give answers. And they're like, how would you know that? And they would give him advice. But then when like the one person says, well, what does this person think of me? And they're like, oh, well, they think you're wonderful. They would like to ask you out, essentially. And then when she went and asked the person, he's like, I have no interest at all. What are you talking about? And it was because of the first law that a robot can't harm an individual. The robot lied because he knew that by telling her the truth, she would be hurt by it. So he lied to create a falsity because he knew that would make her happy. And so it was about like these, like the ways that the laws can be violated. Or there was the one, it's an old book, but like that a law can be violated by if you tell a robot to, or a robot can still kill somebody by like if you have a robot fill a glass with poison and leave it somewhere, and then having another robot go and say, take that glass and bring it in, and then feeding that person poison, you technically have by instruction had the robot kill somebody. But they even talked about how a robot that had liquid sitting on a counter wouldn't want to bring it in because it didn't know what it was. And so you had to figure out the ways around that. And it's really interesting to see the kind of how far he goes with that. But I know when it gets into like Foundation and stuff, it's very different types. But I'm looking forward to it. Even like if I'm going back all the way to the robot series, some like 7 or 8 books before Foundation even starts, and they break up psychohistory. Like, because I think it's supposed to be the same universe, like hundreds of years before Foundation happens. Like a connected universe that he wasn't planning on. But it's interesting. I have this book, one more, and then I think there's 3 books for the Empire series, and then I'll get into Foundation. I've already ordered all the Foundation books. Farscape is 4 seasons and a 2-part movie that wraps up the cliffhanger of season 4 Ender and the main plot points. Yep, I have all 4 seasons, and then I found Peacekeeper Wars at the like half price books like a year ago or something. So I do have all of it.
I promise you can. I promise you. Promise you can. I promise you can.
There's not much motion on her back, but it does move a little bit. I can see the butt does shift a tiny bit, so I'm thinking I can keep it.
Promise you can. Promise you can. Promise you can.
I'll change something here. Oh, I was like, wait, I don't have my water. I do have booze here, but I'm just limiting myself for a little bit. Cheers, Midnight. I've got condensation that built up and it got all over me. No, I now that I know what's going on with things with it, I've been on various antibiotics and stuff for like the last 3 to 4 weeks because I had a abscess on the back of my neck that I have to have removed next week, and I have to go in for surgery. So that's why I'm not having a stream on next Tuesday. So I will be out. But that's why I've not been drinking that much, or I've had deactivated. So I don't mind having some booze now because my antibiotics are over. But it's been a long 3 weeks trying to get through this. So, but it's finally got like some kind of an end date now. But we'll see how that goes. But I'll be back on Friday. It's inpatient, so like it's nothing difficult. It's in and out. I don't have to go under, but they do have to cut me open. I can't remember if I mentioned it before. I probably did, but since you like sci-fi with real science principles, Bain Publishing is a great source of such novel. They have strict submission requirements. I think you mentioned that once before, but then like I didn't really watch it. There's so much like big stuff that I've been trying to get through. I need to go back to reading Ender. I read Ender's Game, and then the sequel to Ender's Game, and I started the 3rd one, but I never got into it. I do want to go back to the Ender universe at some point. I got Red Rising. I couldn't get into that one. I got like 3 chapters in, and I don't know, something didn't click with me with it. Asimov I've been enjoying. So I've been into that. I did 3 Body Problem before. I really like that one. Praying for you, man. Thank you. It shouldn't be it's not a complicated thing, but it's just, the infection led to a lot of pain and multiple doctor's visits and stuff. So, but hopefully it'll be done. Many of Bain's writers actually co-authors, so they can hit the requirements. Co-author as in, so that they can get somebody else's expertise and information to ensure that they're accurate. I do like myself some hard sci-fi, or meaning sci-fi that fits within realistic scientific principles. It's fine if you go outside of it, but it's not so far. Like Star Trek to me, I never really got into it because it's not hard sci-fi. Yes, you could say wormholes and warp drives and stuff can exist, but there's too much fantasy in it. there was a principle I remember somebody talking about when it came to the movie Edge of Tomorrow or Live, Die, Repeat. Well, it was a Tom Cruise movie, really good. And they said one of the reasons that that movie was good was they went through the principle of you're allowed one thing to make unrealistic that the viewer cannot see as being a real thing, but anything beyond that, and you are going to make it seem unrealistic. And with that movie, they had big mech machines that people could walk in, but they designed them and built them in such a way that they actually could kind of work. But the only unrealistic thing in that movie is that he can, like, even the die and the repeat thing isn't really unrealistic. It's just the aliens that are the unrealistic thing. They keep it minimal, where like Star Trek, there's just too much stuff that's unbelievable outside of what you would consider real science. Yes, they can come up with an explanation, but it's not based on anything that we know and understand. Where like Expanse had a like weird goo that didn't really make sense and broke a lot of physics, but that's the only thing in there that isn't scientifically accurate. And that's where everybody in the series is looking at it going, this doesn't work in science. And that's what made that good. And I like that. Like one writer is an expert on history, another on science, and another on military matters. By co-writing, they make good, realistic content. Yeah, I think there was an interview on the Daily Show between James Patterson with James Patterson and Bill Clinton, and James Patterson, because they wrote like a book about the first man in the White House, like where it's a female president, he was the first man, and then there's a murder or something. And because that's James Patterson, and everything has to have a murder. And James Patterson was saying that he would write up some ideas and he would send it to Clinton, and Clinton would be like, oh no, that wouldn't be how it happened. And he would like tell him how everything would work within the White House. And then they modify the story so that everything works within what would actually happen in such of a situation with the Secret Service and everything. And that to me is just a better way to do things objectively. Star Trek putting the fiction in sci-fi. Yeah, Star Trek, it's very like, I really like the Orville, but it was just more Star Trek. Battlestar Galactica, I really liked that because there was a lot of unrealistic things in there, but for the most part, other than just having a ship that can do, like, they don't do light speed, they like blink between spaces. They can just like pop in and out at different locations. Battlestar Galactica is surprisingly accurate to science too. And everything looks grungy and beat up and barely holding on. That's also like more realistic too. Stargate had too much unrealistic. I mean, it was a good sci-fi, but it felt more like Star Trek at some point where there was a lot of hand waviness. I'd almost say I like Battlestar Galactica more for that. I do want to get into Star Trek Deep Space Nine and stuff, but it's just, I don't know. It doesn't feel like sci-fi to me. It just feels like future fantasy. OG Star Trek, most of the sci-fi was based on real world theories of the time. Yeah. And they're going to try to come up with, like when reading Asimov, he's trying to see a future, but he can't foresee what would actually be in that future. So like when he's talking about using things on film and stuff, they couldn't even see or have an idea of a lack of such. Like us being able to move past that because he thinks that it was like literally like an end game thing. That's Fallout. Fallout's really good because Fallout is showing you a universe where it's like things got locked at a specific time. It's taking what the idea the 50s had for the future, and that was fun. And then they can sometimes mix in what the real future had and to try to make it look like if the 50s aesthetic maintained that some of these things that we do have might kind of came up, but in a 50s idea, like that's cool. But it's really hard. You can't like imagine what the future would actually be like in 100 years. Otherwise you'd be creating new technologies right now because you would be creating them for creating that idea of the future. If somebody could create the idea that cell phones would have taken over, like smartphones, well, then they just invented smartphones and somebody could have been like, well, that's actually a pretty good idea. Why don't we start trying to do that? So, yeah. Let's see if I can actually get some stuff down here. But yeah, I think I'm gonna start Farscape next. I like shows that are done. I don't like watching things that are unfinished. That's why I like Foundation. I liked Raised by Wolves. I liked For All Mankind. But every season was like, okay, now I gotta wait 2 more years for something else to come out. And that's fine. But when everything you're watching is unfinished, no. I like being able to go into something and say, I know that I can get through this. I can enjoy it. It can be done and I can move on. It's sometimes sad because you want more, but still.
Promise you can. 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 You can. Promise you can.
Sci-fi of the 50s had us flying a rocket ship to moon bases by the year 1985. Yeah. Well, that's the only sci-fi I've really seen that had pretty realistic time frames is The Expanse. In The Expanse, they went to Mars and essentially had a war with Mars, and it became an independent, basically republic, and with mining and spaceships and space being a pretty common and easy thing to get to. But it's 200 years from now, which is, I think, realistic. That where a lot of these other ones are like 20 years from now, we're going to be doing that. Hell no. What did we have 20 years ago? It was 2005. We barely had cell phones at that point. We have went nowhere in that type of advancement in like 20 years. Some of the biggest space stuff we have is still the same space stuff, because there's just not enough science and research in it. Where there's no incentive to make space that type of a thing. So it's never going to go that way. Instead, we're going to iterate on the crap. Somebody's going to invent something new like AI or smartphones. It's going to explode and then just be iterated on until it's just a boring, stupid thing. Nobody really thinks about cell phones anymore. They get bigger, beefier ones every year, but it's still the same damn thing every year, where in the first 2 years, it was huge explosion, but eventually it just became, we can charge you $1,500 a year to get a brand new cell phone that has 2% more. No, it's stupid. That's on its last.
Promise you can. Promise you can.
The more things change, the more they stay the same. It's more of innovation costs money. So, if you want to build on and make something bigger and better than your competition, that costs a lot of money. But if people are already going to buy all the stuff with very minimal gains, they're not going to go and be innovative. And I think a lot of it is just the cell phone's caught up with technology like computers and stuff, and it's just also hard to innovate on them. The folding phones is probably the neatest thing that's kind of came out, and I really liked I had the Samsung Flip. It's not the Fold, not the one that opened like this, but the one that opened like this. And I loved that phone. That is probably my favorite phone I've ever had. The problem was the screen protector started coming off, and when I got that replaced, it started coming off immediately again. And I saw this being a very expensive thing to deal with, and so I just traded it in, and I literally got that one for like a 6-month-old flagship for $100. So I basically was able to side grade on a Black Friday for really cheap. I kind of want to, if I get a new phone at any point, I probably am going to go back to another, like the Samsung had the, not Samsung, Motorola, the Razr one, the flip one looked really good, or the new Samsung one. Because I just like that form factor. I don't need a big phone, and the fold phone made it really convenient for fitting in the pocket. The one that had the fold had a little ring you could put your finger through in the back, which was great because if you're holding the phone, you could put the ring through your finger, and then literally it would just it would not come off your hand unless you had to pull your finger out of the ring. And if it was in your pocket, I could reach in and grab the ring, and it just made it easier to pull out. It was just the case was probably my favorite part of that phone. Actually, I miss that phone though. I just wish that the screen protector thing wasn't a required thing and didn't have people that had no idea how to put them on. I had to go through a warranty to some local place And when I went into there, they said, oh, we don't do it here. It's only at this location in the state. And so I had to go to that other location. And when I got there, they're like, oh, well, that's only done by this guy. We'll need to set up an appointment. And then when that guy came in, he's like, actually, I don't really know how to do it, but we have the stuff for it. So I'll do my best. I'm like, what? So he replaced it and it actually looked pretty good. But within 1 month, it started peeling again, right at the seam. And that's where I was like, right now it looks like nothing. So I'm going to get that Black Friday trade in. So somebody else had got that problem. I can say with confidence that Rarity is my favorite. I don't know why, but her being dramatic is my favorite thing. I can see that in terms of force. I think like Rarity and Applejack are like in the middle for me. And it's funny because like Jay Holler, I think those are his top two. I think it's Applejack and Rarity. It's just so over the top. You like drama queens. Okay.
Promise you can. You can. You can. You can. You can. You promise you can. You can. You can. Promise you can.
Trying to decide if I want to have this go quick or not.
You promise you can.
It needs to go quick.
You can.
Might be too quick, but I'm just going to leave it.
You can. Okay. You can.
I only am going to do the blend up to here though. I'm not going to, or no, I can do up to that one. I'm not going to do this one because this is going to require some extra carefulness. I want to get Scootaloo and Rainbow up to the same point. Twilight and Rarity for me, though, starting to like Applejack. Applejack a bit more. I've always been Twilight and Rainbow. But I've said before, my main reason for Rainbow is just a specific fic I read a while back that had her portrayed in a less nihilistic way, and being a more role model focused. And I really liked the way that person wrote that character, and it kind of made me like her character more, even though that was a fic that did it. Have her look around, but it might, for how much she's moving, it might be a bit too much because she's basically turning her whole direction twice in 1 second. It looks fine when it's keyframed, but the moment I blend it, it probably going to look too quick. I can probably just reduce it a little bit, but it's probably going to be a bit much because the blend, to just make it not be a quick snap, is going to be like this, and then that blend itself is already the equivalent time of between two movements, which means it's just she's not going to be spending any time looking that direction. It's going to be like woo. It's not going to be too good. I think in order for me to, the main six is Rarity, Twilight, Applejack, Rainbow, Dash, Fluttershy, then Pinkie Pie. I agree, Pinkie Pie last. And Fluttershy is probably your last two are the same as mine. But Rarity would be number 4 for me, with Twilight, Applejack, and Twilight, Rainbow, Twilight, Applejack for the top 3. Yeah, I never did like the way they overdid Rainbow, made her into a caricature of her archetype. Well, so what a series would normally do for something like that is you would have like kind of an archetype for your character, and in any episode that you are not the focus, you are playing that archetype. So if Rainbow is about being arrogant and blah, 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 if it's not a focused episode on her, that's probably what she's going to be in everybody's episode. If the episode is focused on her, then it's going to be how she can improve on that. Because otherwise, if it's a episode about something else, but then Rainbow comes in and is trying to do like something better that's outside of that character, it then takes that focus away from the main character. So normally, like in testing 1, 2, 3, Rainbow was the one learning the lesson, and even though Twilight technically in there could have, she was the one teaching, and she never learned anything herself in there. But then the other episodes would be completely reversed. In there, she was just being her normal nerdy teacher self. So yeah, she's gonna be the archetype a lot, because out of the 6 characters and potentially even more, that means like 1 out of like 8 to 9 episodes are actually gonna have her being like vulnerable to the things that she is. So you're spending 7/8 of the time being that archetype. Starlight Glimmer is your favorite villain. She's not a villain anymore, though. No, favorite villain? I love Chrysalis, but in terms of the show writing, Cozy Glow was just a fun villain. Because everybody else had like motive, and Cozy Glow was just like, I want friendship power. Like I hated her as a character, but the thing is, she's a villain. She's kind of supposed to be hated. So that's fine. Chrysalis was just fun because like the design and like the voice acting for it was all just great. Fluttershy just pisses me off. I know her intentions, but I just can't deal with that attitude. I think Fluttershy is just, if people have a type, and some people just like the shy type, and I think Fluttershy is just, and we brought up before, Fluttershy has to smell so bad. She lives with animals all day, and she lives out in the middle of the woods. She has to smell. Like, no. Keep that away from me. Yeah, that's what it is. She's gotta be so smelly horse. She was just crazy powerful and crazy smart. Starlight was fun because she was supposed to be, as far as I can tell, just like Twilight's like, there's nothing we can do more with Twilight. Let's bring in a new Twilight. But Starlight was more, she had chaotic energy. She knew she was powerful and she was good at what she did, but she didn't know how to fit into a normal world in a way. But her chaotic energy when she's like with Trixie and stuff was always just kind of fun. She was just fun. But in the end, they didn't have to use her. Like Twilight had to be the central focus of how to build friendship itself up, where when they brought in Starlight, she didn't have to be that central focus. She could be more chaotic, which was neat. Okay, I think that should work.
I promise you can. I promise you can.
Trixie getting trapped by Starlight when I think his name is Trex, the good changeling. Thorax. Is such a funny scene. Trixie was, if anything, I think Trixie's one of the, she had like pure chaos energy and she learned nothing ever. Anytime she learned a lesson, she forgot it immediately. Like, and I think that was kind of fun. It was like opposite of what the show was trying to do, but she never learned a single thing. Any lesson she learned the next episode, it was like it never happened. This is good. Like, oh, I shouldn't be so mean to my friends. Next episode, she's an asshole. It's just great. Star Trek is one of my favorite ships. I think it's probably it'd be interesting to see, like, in terms of the most popular ships out there. I'm wondering if that it'd be hard when people have like locked in ships from early seasons. But like, it's probably the most popular ship because it's like, you can't, it seems almost obvious, like, that they, in some way, they spend so much time around each other, similar enough. I mean, in the end, they're just probably good friends, and that's fine.
Promise you can. Promise you.
Oh, good. Oh, I lack Skulu. Oh, that's not what I want to do. You could gauge which ship are the most popular, making a ship video for every ship and release them all at once and seeing which gets the most likes. No. The videos that you put out first would probably get better attention because of algorithm. And there's going to be other people that would just watch them all, but then eventually would be like, wow, this is a lot, and then just not watch the rest for now. And also, holy crap, would that be a lot? It's just, some people are going to be like, from season 1, they're going to say best ship is Rainbow and Twilight. But that's only because they're just ingrained from early on and haven't got the exposure that the rest of the seasons would have given you.
Promise you can. Promise you can.
That was too quick.
Promise you can. Promise you can. Promise you can. Promise you. Promise you can. 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 Promise you can.
That should be fine. Okay, so she goes down a little bit, so it does need to bend a beat. That's fine. You don't ship characters. That's fine. I'm not big on it either. I would say that if I had to, I would have preferences, but I'm not one to be like, ooh, can I get some fan art of these two horses kissing? No, I don't care. I like whatever they are and they do. I'm not going to be the one to force them on each other. That's for Michael. Michael's the smoocher.
No smooching.
I saw that coming. I'd almost considered just to be a butt, and with Michael being gone for basically 2 streams, to just work on the smooching version of that. But then I'm like, he's gone for his birthday. It'd be kind of mean to say like, ha, you're gone for your birthday. How dare you? Michael's more to that stuff, yeah.
Promise you.
Though, I mean, I made shipping videos before, but it was early on. I just liked exploring genres. I liked seeing like what you can do, and I think I've done most genres now. And a comedy is just the more fun one. Comedy is the only video type that you can make like a full video that's like 20-30 seconds long or less and still be fine. But if you try to make like a video that's a drama and serious, how do you do that in 20-30 seconds? If you make romance, you can kind of get away with because people just will grasp onto anything. But it still required a little bit of time because you need to build up to something for drama, for romance, for a lot of those. But comedy, you can just make something funny in 10 seconds and people laugh and then you're done. Which is with how long animation takes. There was the Vivzy Pop did the whatever trailer thing was on the Amazon Prime YouTube that was about the release of Hazbin Hotel and stuff coming up, and they said, and remember, animation takes forever or something like that. And I'm like, yep, I got it. It does.
Promise you can.
If I could spend all day working on this stuff, I would get things done twice as fast. That's about it.
Promise you can. Promise you can.
Well, no, if I spent all day working on things, I probably have to be doing other things too. So it'd be like, let's say out of a 40-hour week, I had 10 hours of other stuff. Let's say I did 30 more hours of work and I do 7 hours right now. Okay, so it'd be like 4 times faster. But I would hate myself.
Promise you can. Promise. Promise.
Animation is fine and all, but if I were just to spend hours every day doing it, oh no, 7 hours a week to me is enough.
Promise you. Promise. Promise you can. 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 Promise. Promise.
This timing might be a little off for the up and down or her bounce motion. But I'll get it fixed. So what's everybody up to this week? Any neat things? It's kind of going to be a bit of a quiet week here with Michael being gone. I don't think I have anything really fancy going on this week. No, normally we were going to be starting to play the Monster Hunter board game on our normal every other Wednesday hangout thing that me, Kyle, and John and Michael are doing. But we had to skip this week because Michael's out. And we tried everything possible to figure out some other day to make it work, and it just didn't work. We're moving it to next Wednesday instead.
Promise you can. Promise you can.
Are they feeling your type that is happy you're keeping your hobby and work life separate? If your hobby became your job, you'd probably hate it. That was originally what I tried everything possible early YouTube to do. But looking back, it was stupid because I had a really bad job. And when I did the math, it would have basically been, I could have went and done animation the same full time and almost made it a wash. So, I could have had a lot more fun and probably grown things better, but it worked out in the end. But yeah, I'm big on my work life, hobby life, and real life being separate. Like tomorrow at work, they're doing this whole thing where they're doing a quiz thing where they wanted something about you that somebody might not know. And then they're going to have people guess as to who that might be. I didn't put anything in because I don't care. I don't want, my work life is my work life, and I keep it separate from everything. And like nobody at work knows that I do YouTube other than like 2 people. But that's only because those people were from my previous job and I just known them for a while. But otherwise I haven't told anybody else there I do anything like that, because why would I? So when it comes, like, usually it's like, well, I'm going to a convention this weekend. Oh, what's the convention about? Animation. Like a Comic-Con? It's always Comic-Con. And I'm like, yeah, like a Comic-Con. And then that's it. Because at that point, they're not nerdy and they just don't care. And so they never ask questions. And if they are nerdy and they start asking questions, I can definitely find stuff to say. Let's keep it off the topic. I just don't want to, I don't want to deal with it.
Promise you can. 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 Promise you. Promise you can. Promise you can. Promise you can. Promise you. Promise you. Promise you. Promise you can.
Okay, I think I need to move her animation here just back like one.
Promise you can. Promise you. Promise.
Because it should be the quickest motion is at the inflex of the word that you want to go in. I want promise. That's where I want when she starts the word. And that's better timing.
Promise you can. Promise. Promise.
I feel like the head needs to go down a little bit here.
Promise you can. Promise you can.
Oh, so she needs to. She's right now going up and then getting
Promise you can. Promise you.
very stiff to that point. Let's see if maybe a little bit return.
Promise you can. Promise you can. Promise you can. Promise you can.
I don't think it's gonna change much.
Promise you can.
No, it's probably too quick.
Promise you can.
So I'm just gonna blend this out.
Promise you can. Promise you can. Promise you can.
Okay, I'm just gonna move forward from there.
You can. You can. You can. You can.
It's just too little time to try to do much for
Promise you can.
wobbles or like easing in and out.
Promise you can.
So like that's too fast of a thing.
Promise you can. Promise you can. You can.
That's not too bad.
You can. You can.
If anything, just do the same thing but just a little bit less. Oh, I have to enable that threshold limit. Otherwise, that little minor motion of the moving the body like that's gonna cause problems.
You can. You can. You can. Yes, you can. You can. Promise you can. You can.
That's fine. We'll go with that. It's a little stiff right now, but once I add in the little like secondary motions, it should even it out. Basically allow gravity to flow a little bit easier. Could probably just unlock the back legs. Yeah, that's fine.
You can. Promise you can. Promise you can.
Something. The leg.
You can. Promise you can.
Oh, this one looked like it was. Yeah, I don't think I twisted it correctly.
Promise you can. 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 Promise you can.
Yeah, that'll work.
Promise you can. Promise you can. Promise you can. You can. You can. You can. Promise you can. Promise you can. You can.
So, yeah, no,
You can.
almost being too quick.
Promise you can.
I can probably reduce it a little bit.
Can.
Wanted it quick, but it's feeling a little bit too quick.
You can. Can.
That's better. All it needs is just a little bit of something. One frame difference, that's all it needed.
Can. You can. You can. Promise you can. You can.
I'm gonna wait on that until I get like the bounce here. And the easiest way to do a bounce is you have your endpoint here, and you just select. This is gonna be like everything for the next transition, flat point, because that's where it's gonna end up, and like that. And you just pick the point beforehand, and you just playhead a little bit of it into the future.
You can.
And then you get like a.
Can.
You get what looks like a little bounce into the position, and you didn't have to reanimate or anything. Like you don't have to animate a bounce. Just use this shot to add a little bit to there.
You can. You can.
Okay, now I'll do the add twist.
You can. You can. Promise you can. You can. Promise you can. You can.
Oh, stop running away from me. It's a very thin circle. There we go.
You can. You can. I promise you can.
Okay, the eyes I need to do here so that I know whether or not that's gonna work right.
Promise you can. Promise. Promise you can. Promise you can. You can. Promise you can.
You can probably not. I was gonna do it all wide, but I'm probably just gonna go like that.
Promise you can. Promise you. Promise you can.
No, a bit more.
Promise you can. Promise you can. Promise you can. I can. 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 Promise you can.
It's bottoming it out right there, so I don't want to go do. Normally I go to the down to middle of the like the tall part of the D, but I don't think I want to go as far because the eye was bottoming out at the bottom, where like you could see the eye going down, but then it just hit flat. Don't want that. So, but when coming back up, I can get away with it. Oh no, it's not going to have any effect here either because her eyes are already at the bottom, so I can't really have her do that either. I can have her do a little bit of a bounce.
Promise you can. Promise you can. Promise. Promise you can. You can. Yeah.
I'm going to take it that I can't drop it. Yeah, see, if I go down here, I'm not really going down, it's kind of to the side, and I don't really want that either. I'll try to do a little bit. Can't do too much because I don't want her eyes looking like they're going sideways. Yeah, that's fine.
Can. Promise you can. Promise you can.
Okay, I gotta modify the mouth now that I know the angle. Because pra doesn't really look right when from that angle, so if I go there, and I go more pucker. This one needs to make sure that it definitely closes more.
Promise you can. Promise you. Promise. Promise.
Michael was in Discord for a tiny bit. He's having a fun time. Yeah, well, this is the first day there, I guess. The I don't know if he posted pictures of like the cabin thing. Sounds almost like they're saying communist. Oh, maybe. I thought you were talking about Michael. Oh, he posted a video. Oh, nice. I don't know if it's a video for us or video for everybody. That's where I'm not sure.
Promise you can. Promise you can. You can. You can. You can. You can. Promise you can.
Okay, that looks much better when it's actually moving.
Promise you can.
And I haven't done any mouth twists yet, too, so that'll be later. Really depends on how everything's kind of moving.
Promise you can. Promise you can. Promise you can.
I might want to delay this part.
You can. And you can.
Maybe earlier. I'll keep the one there. Look at them socks. I want the horses so bad.
Promise you can.
Yeah, that did help.
Promise you can.
Nice geese socks. Not nice geese guy. That's be the name. Hey, Forlow. Hello. We're working on horse videos.
Promise you can. Promise you can.
Do you do animation? Yes, that's primarily what I do, actually. Tuesdays and Fridays, I work on animation stuff.
Promise you can.
We're working on this video for anthology. I can play what I've got so far. Actually, you guys probably can you hear video audio? Oh, okay. I did reset it. Wow. I don't remember doing that. All right. Yeah, it's not finalized. It's mostly smooth. I just haven't done a final pass.
You ready?
Ready for
Why is it so quiet? Hold on.
what?
There we go.
You ready?
Fix your hair.
You ready?
Ready for what?
To jump.
Wait, you can't be serious. I'm not gonna jump.
You can fly, just like me. You take a big deep breath, you step off, and your body will just do the rest. It'll just take over.
But I can't fly. I'll just fall right off of here and get
Hey, buddy, you're gonna love it. I promise.
nothing like you. I can't fly.
You can. I promise you can.
I love it.
Like you. I can't fly.
I'm a little Scootaloo's little transition here. I'm not a fan of, but I think it's probably because it's transitioning an emotion directly into stop, so that'll probably be fixed. Too funny every time. Yeah. Oh, the night. Have you not seen? Maybe you haven't seen us doing the whole thing. It's from The Boys. I think season 3. It's for anthology, so gotta do something. The goal is between now and Cider Fest, or at least a month before Cider Fest, because I think that's when the deadline is. Everything I'm working on for animation is going to be for potentially any anthology stuff.
Promise you can.
So yeah, we're doing normally how I work things is it first is doing camera placement and keyframing. That's where when I mark things red. So that's essentially what this is I got the camera where I want it to be and I've keyframed it, essentially meaning any key moments that are in a motion of a character to ensure that the idea of what they're doing is essentially an animatic of sorts is portrayed. And then I'll go through and sometimes clean up the keyframes a little bit. Like the first pass, even before this, is probably just me like turning the head to the sides and not doing full body. These were full body positioning. Like you can see here that was one of the keyframes. Then the second pass is to smooth those out and add in the things that start making their animation feel real. It's not just a full like straight blend. It's actually then adding any secondary or tertiary animation to make sure that it smooths out. So that's what I'm kind of doing here. Of like this is just A to B, or these ones. So it's just A to B, A to B, A to B. That one's just keyframe right now. Where these beginning ones are where you're starting to get more bounciness. So I'm working on doing that. That's where things go orange and then they become green after I've went through and locked the hair, locked the ears, added tail animation, the eyebrow or the eyelash. Yeah, it's the eyebrow. Basically making sure that all the rounded corner or the harsh corners are rounded off and looking a lot nicer. In betweens or blocking. Though I think blocking is more, I think it's like keyframe or I think in betweens is blocking. I think that's what you're meaning by that, where you're essentially blocking would be like making kind of keyframes, but then like creating a middle keyframe to that, and then between those two, you're making another keyframe, and you keep doing that until you literally have every frame in the animation. No, I don't like doing that. SFM has really nice tools for smoothing things out, and I just do that. It's funny how when Michael is here, he doesn't want you to hurt any ponies, but he's okay with Scootaloo falling. He's the one that pushed to have this done.
Promise you can.
Okay, I can turn that down a little bit more.
Promise you can. Promise you can.
The one thing I don't like about SFM is their rigs kind of suck. So the horses I'm using don't have rigs, and that's why I have to be a little careful on how I do the keyframing, because that's why, like, you can see like doing a little bit of wobble there, but I don't care because I'm doing like a 2/3 shot. I'm not doing a full shot. I can't see their legs on the ground, so I can get away with a little bit of wobble. But if it's full, then no. Blocking comes before in-betweens, I thought, but it's been a while. I also did 2D, so it's a bit different. Yeah, as far as I know, keyframes it could be keyframes blocking in-betweens, where with the in terms of like the detail that you're putting in there. But I find in terms of like adding, like, I couldn't block secondary animation. Like, I don't feel I can do that. I like the keyframe, so you can ensure that you have exactly what the character should look like and doing at that moment, and it will not be affected. So even after you do all the blendings and the characters moving and bouncing around, the keyframe should be exactly the same, because it is a key frame. It is an important piece of the animation to ensure happens to make have the story, the character, the emotion all portrayed correctly. Where once I blend those, I can just blend in everything else, kind of make it all fit together. I don't care then. In Google, it sounds like blocking is greater than keyframes, which is greater than in-betweens. Yeah, blocking is so much more work though. Like, because technically, when you think of like a timeline here, you're seeing a lot of really smooth, rounded lines. But really, the only thing that matters is when I'm going through here, you can see that I guess it's sort of the stylus, the like time frame indicator. It's jumping. Everything between, like, say this point and this point means nothing. Only thing that matters is what it is when it's here and what it is when it's here. The fact that this line kind of rounds upwards before getting to the point, it could go way downwards and come up. It could wobble all over the place. It's not going to matter because it's not in the frame. So these curves are only there for making things kind of easier to see and process. Blocking and a lot of those other types are where you're starting to just going down to the level of adding keyframes essentially for every single frame, which can work, but I'm trying to get some of that secondary animation, the certain bounces done right. If I had a reference, like say, I know that I've seen for Boss Baby and some other 3Ds where the animators will actually just get a camera and cheaply record themselves animating out a scene. And then they'll use that as a reference and try to copy what they were doing. They've been doing that since, like I remember seeing Little Mermaid. There's some rare footage you can find of actual recordings of an actor playing out some of the scenes that they recorded on film so they could trace it. Like, it's similar. You have reference, and the reference material can come in handy. It's a little handy when you're playing with humans. Horses are harder to try to do references for, which... That's where like games like Monster Hunter or I've been playing Horizons are crazy, because there's all these unique different monsters and characters that are non-human, and it's so much harder to get references for. Like you need to figure out what did a raptor walk like? You can't go and record a raptor. Like, so somebody has to come up with that, and I think it's neat. I always thought of blocking as a moving storyboard. Yeah. That's why I like keyframes, because keyframes are I think the minimal that you should do, but everything can be blended easily from there. And it's essentially just your storyboard. So when I'm already building a storyboard, I can just build it as where my keyframe should be. And then all I have to do later is just go back and refine those keyframes instead of having to like add a bunch more. Hello, Scoop.
promise you can. 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 You can. Yes, you can. Promise you can. You can.
Okay, I do like that, but I think I'm gonna try just right in the middle here. Oh, I can't do it like that. Saying this.
You can. You can. Promise you can.
That should be fine. Rotoscope animation. The original 1980s He-Man was animated with rotoscope film. There were live bodybuilders acting out the scenes. Yeah, because it helps a lot. Essentially, that's what the first My Little Pony movie did. Not the Gen 5 one, but the one before that. They used 3D models and they traced on them. Hold on, I can find it. Of an art book, though I think there was I'm gonna take this like cover thing off, it's already kind of beat up. Only art I own a lot of art books, but this is the only one I've actually like read, and it was very funny. I say funny because is it yeah, one of Michael's favorite images. Fletcher Shy. Hold on, I'm gonna have to go full camera on that. No, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Camera. Yeah, it was this one. It's gonna be hard to see, but it says right there, more butt. More butt. One of Michael's favorite from the art book. Or there's a scene towards the end with she was crying on the beach. Mount Ares, come on. Equestria, nope, it's still later. Return to Equestria. Yeah. It's one of my favorite images. Just puddle of twilight tears. I love more tears. No, I want to see if I can find it. There's this collection of small images they have in here. And I've shown it once before, but it was a long time ago. But they even have like the same shot, and they show how they did some of the lighting passes and everything, which is very interesting. They have reference sheets for some of the characters. They actually show like some of the boats in 3D and some of the characters in 3D. But the one I'm looking for was they basically did the whole movie, or at least most of the movie, with 3D models. Very basic, no details, no nothing, just like the shape of a horse. And then they used it to trace over. Oh, and also things that weren't in the movie. So in early version of the Storm King, oh no, this is Raiju. Like that was supposed to be in the movie. Like that was really cool. Like the art, if you don't have the art book, I would definitely recommend it. It's very good. A lot of stuff that never made it into the movie. But I believe it was like in the forest. And I love how they just have like copy paste of just standard horses standing on things to show scale. Not Cluj Town. I know it was like as a 2x3 image in one corner that just had a bunch of 3D models in it. Like this really tiny image. I'm thinking I might have passed it. Nope, might be in Mount Ares. We'll check. I'll only take like 30 more seconds, and if I don't find it, I'm just going to move on. You can always get the book yourself. Do they still sell it? Actually, I don't know. Yeah, let me go back to the beginning. There's some super interesting things on there. Art books just in general I like that this one was a nice wide art book, because I feel like some of the ones that aren't, I don't want to like damage things. And yeah, I don't think I'm going to easily find this image. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. But yeah, it was just neat seeing that they still did a hand-drawn thing, but then they did full let's see if it's at the beginning. Full 3D for the whole movie, acted out the whole movie just as a reference. Movie budgets, yeah, I'm not gonna find it quickly. Whatever. Boom. The 360 cameras are awesome, far better than having it use software to stitch a bunch of images together to make a 3D 360 image. Yeah, and that's what was great about by doing that, is because by having it where you can have a reference on how to draw the character going around, you can make it look pretty damn good 3D on a spin. It's still going to be a lot of work to draw it, but it definitely helps a lot, and they did a great job with doing that. Worth it just for the more butt. It's, if you look online for if you go to Google and search Fluttershy more butt, not my fault if you run into other things, but you might be able to find it. I had a 3D camera that required expensive film, so I gave it away. It was really cool how it worked, but just too expensive. Pause? Let's pause.
Promise you can. You can.
Okay, I want to get her up. It's a bit of a move. We're gonna have her lean into the motion first. On average, how long does it usually take you to render? That's a difficult one to answer because it really depends on how complicated the shot is. This one probably won't take that long because I don't have a complicated scene build. The map is pre-done, so the only models I've added are the 2 horses and some wood on the ground. That's it. So it should be pretty simple, but compared to like a lot of the scenes that were done in Australia when I did that one, those were all scene builds, so that was all unique models. Those ones took a lot longer. But I'd say on average for a decently complex scene, it would average anywhere from 12 to 18 seconds a frame, which compared to like Blender and all that is pretty damn quick, but it still adds up. For instance, if you went and did, let's say it's a 30 FPS video, and let's say we just average just to 15 seconds per frame, and then that is 30 frames per second, 450, and then let's say this is a 1 minute thing, so it's times 60. So that's 27,000 seconds. So if we divide that by 60, that would give you minutes. That is 450 minutes. You're still talking a while. So still hours. But I've had it go up to 30 seconds a frame, and I've had it go down to 6 seconds or less. This one, it's really easy to check because all I have to do is let it preview, and you can see how fast it renders the frames. So it does it twice because, and if I take this off, it won't because it was just doing that. This is taking right now like 2 seconds. I don't have any lights on. So we go over here. We turn the lights on. So now it's about 2.5 to 3 seconds. Still, it's maybe 3 seconds most. It's not a complicated scene because a pre-rendered map is all the lighting, everything is baked in to be very efficient because it's all together, where anytime you have to load in models, that adds a lot of overhead. So this one probably won't take very long to render. It'll be pretty quick. But then I still have to render out like 40 seconds. So it's probably going to still take, even at that, probably a couple hours. Do you see yourself making any more 2 to 5 minute animations? I'm working on one. It's the Ministry Mayor's one. And Premiere, yeah. I have a rough animatic thing of it. The difficulty with a lot of those is because of the limitations of I haven't rendered that one out. Because of the limitations of SFM, it means that I can't do all of it in one file. I'd have to break it up, which then means that my favorite method of kind of storyboarding and doing everything within the files gets really difficult, because then I start planning outside of it. If you want to do fades like I did in Remembrance, that requires extra planning, because now I have to animate in time before and after a shot, and I have to figure out where those are. It gets a lot more complicated to do things that are longer, and also just writing something that's that much longer. So yeah, we have this one. A lot of this, there's just so many scene builds with only one shot actually being done. It's not rendered yet, but that was the only one I considered done. But this is just me just taking images of some of the stuff that we started and just moving it around so that I have a plan. Because like I said, it just starts getting really difficult, and we still have a couple gaps. But this would be 4.5 minutes long. But it's goes through a lot of the Ministry Mayor's story things. Not like a lot of this beginning stuff is not finalized in any way. But it's supposed to be a sad song about the Ministry Mayors from Fallout. Should kind of go through, so they got Twilight and their little whatever thingy. Yeah, that I haven't done yet. We got Apple Snack on the roof after he totally killed a guy. Fluttershy talking at her little speechy thing. Rarity doing her soul splitting. There's a main 6 zoom in picture, and that needs to this is mostly done. I just haven't rendered a good version of it out. Happy Old Times Watchdog Colors. That's going to be a hell of a one to do. This is still a lot of ways from done. I started this in 2019. There's one chest of scorpion armor. The pinky shot glass breaks. That one I started. Applejack at the vault. That everything. It's getting there. One day. I think I'll have that done in 2032. If I work quickly. It's just a lot of work. I also helped another guy build a holographic camera setup. It required a laser and mirrors. I happen to know a guy at the local scrapyard, and I got a broken cash register for cheap. Oh, nice. But Remembrance, for what it was, still took a lot of work, but it wasn't too bad because there wasn't talking, there wasn't lyrics, there was only one main character. It was just simple for what it was. But if I were to try to make a 5-minute full talk thing with story driven and characters in different places, it would just be, for what it is, it wouldn't be worth it. YouTube doesn't like if you don't put out things a lot. So if I were to spend all my time to make a 5-minute animation, it would take me a couple of years. Let's say I worked in it at a very consistent pace. It would take years. I'm not doing anything on YouTube in that time. I would basically just lose followers. And then when the video does come out, YouTube would derank me on the algorithm by so much. And the amount of people that were subbed, you can have 300,000 subs, but if those aren't active people, like people leave and go do something else, or they get drowned out with other subs and you now have gotten so low in the rank, it means that even when it does come out, nobody's going to see it. So it means that it's prioritizing instead, making stuff that's quick, easy, and fast so that I'm not thrown off the radar of what YouTube wants to promote. So I try to actually, if you don't put out anything for 1 year on YouTube, they'll just demonetize you. They'll still put ads on your stuff and take the revenue for themselves, but they will not pay out anymore. So that means anything I have historically done will not no longer be done. So I have to do at least one thing a year to do that. You are casually telling us a video that will take 7 years. I know, but I've also been very casually doing it, and that I've been doing all this in the meantime. I stopped working on that video for like 3 years or something because I just realized it was going to be too big, and then I was looking for stuff to do. I'm like, let's poke at it some more. That one, there's no lip syncing, there's no talking. The animation is going to be basic. It's just a lot of scene build. There's so many of those that don't exist, and I have to put it together. And that's what's taking the longest. And scene build, that's what Australia took me forever, just because I had to make all the scenes. So it's the same thing here. Argo had to bring out your dead. Yeah, that too. So bring out your dead. The benefit on that one was the whole thing took place in basically one spot. So it made it so I had to do a lot of lip syncing. The characters weren't moving. They were just talking to each other. They were just basically standing. It minimized a lot of things. If I have to have a character jumping around or doing backflips or something, that's going to take a lot more time. But if they're just standing and interacting, and I can keep the camera like at this level above the legs, I don't have to worry about interaction with the ground. One object interacting with another object is very complicated, especially in SFM, because you have to figure out, like, okay, now they're going to go and move around, but I have to make sure that they are locked solid to that ground. Where here, I don't have to really worry about it too much if they're not quite the same. Like even here, I don't need to worry about that they're always in the same position. Like depending on the shot, like here, Rainbow moves to the side for better camera angle. Like Rainbow and Scoots move around. They're moving to just what better fits the camera's angle, and but that's about the most that they have to move. I end up losing internet. I got a heavy storm pouring down right now. Well, that's good. Get some rain in that heavy air, or the hotness. Like Space Derps. Space Derps had the convenience of no animation. It was only, I guess when they're in Chuck E. Cheese, there's a little bit, but most of it was just the same animation over and over again, which made that convenient. But Space Derps was also just stupid fun. And I could go cheap. Like showing the Hasbro headquarters, like it looked really janky, but it was kind of the jank that made that work. Where if I were with Remembrance, jank takes away. And now I have to put all this extra detail into making things fit and not pull people away from the stuff. But the butt dance is just recycled animation too.
Promise you can. You can.
Wait, did I have her? Oh. I got distracted and didn't finish. Okay, good. I know if I went back, I could find it again. Oh my God, it's Big Derp. Michael's not here, Big Derp. I'm sorry. You will be back later and you can get your boobs. Hello, Byton. Recycled cuteness. Exactly, actually. If you've already put the work into animating something, don't redo it. Just steal from yourself. It saves you time. It's one of the reasons that I put out a lot of my animation stuff as like a Creative Commons no attribution, whatever, for people for my old animations, because it's a big library of like motions and things that people could potentially use in other videos and save themselves time or use for a reference on something. If you're going to make a horse walk or make a person walk, don't go and rebuild a walk every time you need to make somebody walk. Just go and take from what somebody else did or make your own walk cycle and then just recycle it. There's definitely gonna be times where you're going to need to customize it or build it a little differently, but it gets you 90% the way there. And then you just have to do a little bit of touch up and you're good. Saves you a ton of time. Early on, it felt like animation I was just slower at. And then I didn't have the library to go off of, but now I've had it even times where I'm doing lip syncing and I'm like, I think I've made a horse say that phrase or those words before. I'm going to go and just copy paste it just to save myself time. It's a little harder now because most of the stuff I've done for lip syncing was on VN models. And now with using the revamped or whatever these ones now are, they don't have the same face flexes. So you can't copy paste. But most of the body animation I can copy paste. It actually looks pretty decent on its own. I probably am going to have... Can I just have Rainbow like dip down a little bit like that? A little bit slower. Extend that. That actually looks pretty good. It's like this chasing black line. Black spots. What is that causing that? Don't know what object is causing those. It's over Scootaloo too. Oh, it's probably I bet you it's the has something to do with these lines. After I do a motion, I basically just do a check with the bone of like, because I'm not using the rig, I want to make sure that the bend I put in there is realistic looking, like that I'm not stretching the leg out or compressing it too much. Yeah, that looks fine. Like this one, you can see I'm definitely compressing it down here because I haven't done anything yet. But if I make a bend in it, now it should look fine, and it does. But it looks like I overbent this a little bit. I'm seeing it pop out a little bit right here. Still a little bit, but better. Have the horses doing a little dance thing.
Promise you can.
And so I will normally have the eyes kind of go down whenever they're closing. Because generally, if you watch a human's eyelids, when you're looking up, down, left, maybe not as much left, right, but up and down, your eyelids will follow your pupil to try to keep, like, it doesn't want to have it like extra space taken up or white of the eyes if it doesn't need to. And it's really hard with the horses to do that. It does mean that with a horse, if they're looking up or down with their eyes by a little bit at all, you should actually take the eyelids and like make the top one go up a little bit, like if they're looking up, and kind of move everything up and down a little bit, just a little bit with it. But similarly, when their eyes are going to go closed, that means that their pupils should kind of work with it too. It just looks so much nicer to have like here the eyes do that. I might have overdone it a little bit on this one, but it's essentially trying to keep like about the center of the eye, the pupil at the center of the close. Because if you look at the eye when it's closing, the actual center is like right here. So that means that you're putting only the bottom up a little bit, but the top is going down a lot. I'm trying to offset that. Though I feel like the whole eye and everything opens up way too quick here, just in general. I'm going to delay that by one. Okay.
You can. Promise you can. You can. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you can. You can.
Have a good night, everyone. 4 a.m. wake up is not fun. Oof. Well, go back to bed? It actually looks pretty good. So when shifting, I don't want to have her dip because that doesn't make any sense. But I can probably delay the head a little bit. Like her body starts moving first just to try to make this a little bit of asymmetrical motion. It kind of makes it so that she doesn't spend any time looking that direction. And if I do a dip of the head even, might be a little much. Because she's not going to like swing constantly back and forth. She's just probably going to do simple left and right. I might have to keep this one pretty basic. And so here, I don't know where I want the eyes move. Like, I feel like that's too early, so I'm going to delay it. That might feel too late now. So I'm just going to keep playing with it until I get something that feels right. I think it was earlier. That was better. I think I need to hear the constantly. Yeah, I feel like it might need to be earlier. That actually works. Let's just spread out the fade at the end. Yep, that'll work. But when she does that, and she looks over suddenly. This is where one of those situations where if the eyes are changing drastically and you're not doing a blink to hide it. I just did a blink, so I don't want to do it again. This is where I will do just a little bit of like an eye close or something. Just to make it look like there's something with the eyelids are moving. Basically, if the eyes are moving, the eyelids should be moving. If you actually load up TF2 models, they actually have it built in with the eyes actually do go up and down or look up and down. They will move the eyelids with it. It's just a lot harder on horse. When the eyes are very small and like that, you can get away with that a lot easier. This is just so much harder because their eyes are like size of bowling balls. And I always could have it be that she's like say in this way, she's instead of just going small, her left eye is squinting more. And then her right eye isn't doing that as much. I'm going to go a little bit. Just so that when it's shifting over there, there's something. And then when she shifts back, I'll let it swap. So it's like she's kind of doing like a low eyebrow over there, then kind of like swapping the eyebrow to the other side. I'm probably just going to do it that way. So here. Why did that round not do right? Oops. Did that right? Yeah, it's just having a hell of a time getting it to blend right. I think it's... Oh, it's because I don't have it selected. There now it does. Okay, now I'm going to say over the same period of time, I'm going to make the right eye squint. And I'm going to take the left eye and remove the squint. So I think that normally it would be the opposite, but that only really works if I do it this way. Hello, Cookie. She always has 3 cookies, and she always leaves 2. I don't know what happens to the other 2. They're very stale. Yeah, I think that this position only works if she kind of is like turned. Or it probably will work if I just don't have it closed as much. Or Derpy takes the cookies. That's what it is. That implies Derpy is very small. And Scootaloo is very big. Or they're all really small, but just Derpy's extra small. I think the eyebrows will help a lot too once I get those done. One thing I'm a little bugged by with her motion is she's just kind of rotating in place. I think what I want to try to do, it might be a little hard at this point. I'm going to see if I can get her to shift to the side. Just a little bit. Okay, it can't be shift because it's too small of a motion. Oh. Maybe just a little bit, not too much. And this tail. I don't want tail, I want pelvis. Apple Boom crawls across the floor to steal one. She is starving. Those apple cookies? Better be apple cookies. We don't eat no chocolate in this house. I'm actually curious, like, what does Applejack eat at home? Like, because when they had like peaches at some point or something, they threw a whole thing. Like, is it just bread and apples? Is that just it? Because I know they eat pancakes and I can understand that. But like, what? And like, and they have pigs. What do you, why? Why do they have a pig? What is the pig for? Yeah, I know bacon. But that's then there's questions because like does that pig talk? I don't think that pig talks. But like truffles? Pig eats trash. It's recycling. That at least makes somewhat sense. Hello, Melody Muffin. I'm doing well. How are you doing? Yeah, because there's no reason to have a pig unless you're making ham or bacon. You're good, Uwu. That's good. That might be too much. Okay, that helps a little bit. I think I might keep it. Oh, except for I feel like some of these rotations should not be done by the shoulder. Let's say soldier. They should be done by down here. Too much though. That should be fine. Yeah, that looks fine. No reason for pig, but consider friend. But there's so many other places to make friend. If it was Fluttershy, sure, she is friends with a pig. But Applejack? Like the cows, okay, milk, even then that has questions. But like, okay, she can at least have cows for a reason. But pigs? And like chickens, well, even eggs are weird. Because like that's just unfertilized chicken. Pigs eat trash and produce fertilizer, and yeah, they produce bacon. Yeah, for baking. That's why the milk mostly makes sense. But are horses lactose intolerant? That's that's a question of the day. Are horses lactose intolerant? Yeah, they're lactose intolerant. Adult horses lack the enzyme lactase. So that means that I'm guessing you can probably get away with some baking because you're not putting that much milk in it. But there's probably a limit. Just more horse farts. See, Michael would like horse farts, because if it's something horse, then he likes it. If horse farts means that horses exist, he will take the horse farts. This one I think I'm going to do a little dip in, but I can get away with it because I've kind of not done any other dips before then. I think that could kind of work. Applejack, hey Charlotte, news for you. You done won the great big paradise lottery. They could. Maybe that pig was magically created to be a genetically identical in terms of the organs to Granny Smith. And if Granny Smith ends up having like a failing liver, they have the pig. So it's like the island. It's a the island situation. And if anybody doesn't know that movie or story reference, it's about an island where people can win a lottery to leave the island. But then the truth is that the island is just a group of clones of rich people that are there for the sole reason of replacement parts in case they have any health concerns. And so if they win the lottery, it's because that person had a problem and therefore needs their liver. And so they are just kill the clone. It was a movie called The Island. Pretty old movie now. I think that came out like late 2000s maybe. Okay, I'm going to definitely have her eyes blink at this transition. It's pretty quick from the last one, but not too bad. These ones should be able to get away with a pretty decent amount of down. Anything I could use a bit more. That one's fine. This one seems minimal, but I think it's fine as it is. I think that her eyes are too closed at this. Okay. And that will lead to the scoots. I think what's bothering me a little bit with this one is that because her arm is bending, it's actually making it look like their legs are flat and not it doesn't look right. If I were to like put it like that. Or would it make sense to have this whole leg kind of shift over like in a supporting role? I think that can actually work. I'm gonna see if I can just use it as it is. I just went to get a drink refill, and just as I was walking under one of the roof leaky spot, a big stream of water hit me on the back of my neck and rolled down my spine. Inside? You have leaky spots into the house? I feel like that is something that should be handled. Okay, and then the hoof comes back here. So from here to here, I need to have it go up again. I think that works, but I think I need to slow down that hoof's return. It takes from here to here. I think I just went too fast. Oh yeah, flat roofs always leak. A flat roof. Well, I guess if there's no, well, okay. So in my head, not only do I have like an angled roof, but there's like full of insulation and stuff. And with everything else, any water coming down means that you would have to fix a roof, insulation, ceiling, wood. There's so many other layers that just sounds very expensive. But if it's flat, maybe that's just better. As an old Adobe style building, hell, part of the stucco came off in a windstorm 2 months ago, and I can look right at the old dirt blocks. Yeah, I remember when I was down in Arizona for like a trip visiting, not visiting, just like a holiday thing, and walking into, I think it was a McDonald's, and it had one door. Like, it was an automatic door that when you walked up to it, it was right into the store. That does not exist in our state, in the Midwest. You do not have single doors into a location. It is always a double door. It to create a break for temperature, to keep like the outside, because you get humid, but mainly you get the cold. And seeing a single door was like actually kind of surprisingly confusing. Like it felt unreal. Anything, whether it's like a Home Depot or the grocery store or Culver's or McDonald's, it's always a double door. It's just so weird. I feel like that leg shift is brought back really quick, but I think it's fine.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Technically, this shot, if I wanted to, I can always I could extend this portion if I feel like it's kind of going a little fast, because I think I cut out like 4 or 5 seconds of him not doing anything, like of this part.
You can.
I just think Rainbow wants to be 80% quicker.
Promise you can. Promise you can. Promise you can. Just you can. Yes, you can. Promise you can. Okay. Yes, you can. Promise you can. Promise you can. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just use the down and down again.
Promise you can. Yes, you can.
You don't have to have motion beat fully by like rotation. Being able to just jam the head down gives you sometimes a lot of that like bounciness to the head that you might not get otherwise.
Yes, you can.
And it's cheap and easy.
I promise you can.
Like here, she kind of goes down right here. I can try to just go here, go bam, down a little bit. And it just adds a little bit of motion, and you can't even tell that it did it. Like here, when she's doing a little down, I can do the same thing. Boop, boop. Yep, helps. The ceiling is drywall, then old stripped tree branches in place of slates, a space with no insulation, then a couple of roof support timbers, raw wood, plywood, and roof paint. Yeah, no. We have drywall, but I think if I had to take a guess, our insulation in the attic right now is about, it's probably only about that deep. Before winter this year, I was going to be calling somebody in so that, because it should be closer to like that deep with blow insulation. It's our attic was equivalent of an R26 for insulation, and it should be an R50 in the Midwest, especially Minnesota. Depending on the state, the amount of insulation you should have changes. Some states have lower recommendations. Minnesota specifically recommends 50. So I needed to have somebody come out here and do that. Plus, I have two lights in our living room that did not have insulation around them, which is not always outside the norm. Can lights that go in the ceiling sometimes aren't rated to be insulated. If you actually pull a can light out, you can usually see on the inside, it'll say whether it is or not. Ours look like they're fine to be insulated, but they insulated two of the same exact ones, but not the other two. So I need to have them also go and make sure that that is done properly, and a couple other things in the attic that still need to be done. But the problem with having an attic that's a big open space like the ones we have is they have to be vented, for one, because beating down in the heat in the summer, it will get super hot up there, and that creates pressure, and you want to have the hot air able to escape. But because of that, that also means that sometimes your attic is hotter than the outside. And if you don't have the proper insulation in your attic, that means that heat's going to now get into you. And so that's also why I need to get some more insulation. I'm thinking the upstairs, I have difficulty balancing temperatures, and being that the entire attic is half as insulated as it should be is probably a big cause of it. My guess.
You can. Man. I promise you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I might consider rainbow pretty good here.
Promise you can. Yes, you can. You can. You can. Promise you can. Yes, you can.
It's interesting how different building stuff is between north and south. North, it's like nature's trying to kill you, save yourself from it. And then in the south, they're like, nah, paper's good. Just put paper walls. Yep, if an attic is not vented, it can cause a blowout, or more likely a blow down through the ceiling. Yeah, we have a lot of vents on our roof. Just from the outside, you can see it just lining the top. There's a bunch of them. So ventilation's perfectly fine. We just need to get it so that the heat doesn't get back to the house or the cold. But I think to do all of the insulation, they want to have, I did some eco thing for our house this winter. They give recommendations for stuff based on what they saw. And it was also to have 2 always on fans from the house, mainly in the bathrooms, so that instead of having ones that you turn on, it's a much quieter fan, but it runs all the time, with the idea of being recycle air. So no matter what, you're always trying to get air pulled out of the house. And then to insulate one other thing in the attic, that was like a pipe that wasn't insulated. And then there was also a part of a wall that looked to have a leak in it from like air perspective. So when there's they did a pressure test, they put this big fan on my front door that blew air out really fast, and it was a full seal on the door, with the idea being it can measure based on the resistance of that fan how much air is being pulled from the outside in your house, and by doing that, it also lets them use a temperature camera, because it was like 0 degrees that day, and watch where the cold spots pop up, because it's pulling the air in from like leaks in your house. Well, they found one in a wall that was pulling in a lot of cold air, and they could see the cold air come down. The walls aren't insulated in the house, only on the outside of the house. So once it got into that cavity, they could see the cold air. So that needs to be insulated or something. And I think it was like quoted for like $6,000 to do everything. So I'm like, ugh. So that's going to be like maybe in a month, or maybe like 2 months, September or something. I'll probably have somebody do that, but it could potentially save me like probably between $30 and $40 a month in HVAC, and just the bigger one, comfort.
Yes, you can.
too quick. A little bit more. Scoop. Cheers. Did I finish my booze? No, I didn't. I had one. And I was actually fine. I don't need more. That looks better. When the eyes come around. Scoop. A little bit more. I think that should be enough then. Just enough that I want to have her eyes look like they're coming around just a teeny bit more. Without going overboard and having them fly across. Okay, that should be fine. It's very minor, but to me it makes a big difference. Like, even here, I'm not liking this. Like, if you look at how her eyes are kind of set up in here, it looks kind of goofy. I might, don't do this often. But at least through here, I'm gonna increase the convergence a little bit. Just so that there's enough to keep the eyes from having those white spots. A little bit more. Okay, is that kind of weird though? Kinda. That's a little weird. But it looks weird with it, so... Maybe I just need to put it out. I think it was feeling a little weird to me because it was ending while those are still going up. So it kind of went out to the side, then stopped and kept going up. That was weird. How goes Horizon? I have essentially 100%ed the regular game. So I've done everything possible I can do. The only thing I haven't done is any... if I potentially wanted to do New Game Plus, which I thought about streaming, the reason I'm not sure if I will is because, for one, it's for only 3 achievements, and it would require me playing a vast majority of the game again on ultra hard. So I played it on normal, and then there's normal, hard, very hard, and ultra hard. And one of the achievements is for playing on ultra hard, and they do some very specific changes on ultra hard that are really annoying, like there's no limit on how many enemies can attack you at once. I mean, you can have 4 enemies in a combat, but normally they purposely make it so that if an enemy attacks, it will attack, but the other ones will wait. When you're on ultra hard, they don't care and they'll just brutally attack. They'll have like 2.5 times more health and you take 50% more damage or double damage. It just sounds brutal. And I don't know if I want to go through like 50 hours of that. So I think I might just call it. I wonder if there are any good MLP Horizon Zero fix. It came out in like early 2010s. I wouldn't be surprised it was around that time, but I don't know. It seems like a lot to try to mix the universes. And it's the exploration that makes it fun for me. If you already know what happens, it takes a lot of fun out of it. Kind of. I still find I find the combat just fun. I really like the combat. That and the character animation. Holy God, the character animation in Horizon is probably some of the best I've ever seen. It's all mocapped down to the facial animation. Like there's so much nuance that can be said for everything that's going on just without words, because they can do all the facial animation. It's so good. The world itself is gorgeous. It's just, to me, it's like a perfect game. There's too much to it that they did right. The world is beautiful. The animations are beautiful. The story is, the universe itself is amazing. The story is not as good as the first game, but it's still very good. And they have amazing music. It's just, everything's so good. And there was very few ever glitches or problems that broke immersion. A ghost fact. A ghost fact. When you become a ghost, you have to make a pilgrimage to the top of a mountain. And if you make it up there, then you become a full-fledged ghost. Otherwise, you're just like a plebe ghost, and you're like, nobody cares about you. But if you get to the top of the mountain, you are goat ghost, and you get to go and lord over all the other ghosts, those little weebs that didn't go up the mountain. So, but it's a nearby mountain, so it means that when you die, like, don't be by Everest. It really sucks for those people. But like, if you're just like on an island, I mean, it might just be like a molehill. It makes it a lot easier. Is there an achievement for each of the game on very hard mode? Not very hard, ultra hard. Only ultra hard. There's an achievement for playing through a new game plus. There's an achievement for getting all of the new equipment. There's a bunch of new weapons and armor and skins and stuff you can get. There's an achievement for getting all those, and then there's an achievement for beating it on ultra hard. You can do it ultra hard in your first playthrough, but oh god, that would be like annoying. On New Game Plus, you get to carry over equipment. The problem is, normally I thought, well, I could just burn through the main story. But if you want to get the achievement for getting all of the new gear, those are all tied to every time you get a skill point, you get an equivalent amount of these like token things, and then you can use those to buy the gear. And from playing through the base game and the DLC and doing everything, I had about 400 skill points, and you need like 150 or something to get all that, which means you need to do over a third or closer to half of everything in the game. That includes all side quests to try to get all that. That's a lot. So I don't know. I know you're an achievement hunter, Argo. Do it. I'm an achievement hunter for achievements that are not frustrating. That sounds frustrating. I have let's see here. I have 118 hours in the game just doing one playthrough. With the DLC and literally everything, and a lot of farming for equipment to like get like max weapon and stuff. Going through to do that sounds like another 50 to 60 hours for just 3 more. It just doesn't feel like it's worth it to me. How many full completed games do I have? Is there an easy way to check that? Oh, I know I have like 18. Oh, I have 24. What are my perfect games? Will it tell me? It does. I have Deep Rock Galactic. That one took forever. One of the last ones required some very, the carpool. Ride a Silicon, no, not the carpool. Was it? Oh yeah, it was. Ride the Silicon Harvester with 3 other dwarves and kill 5 enemies each without leaving. That takes some coordination. That was annoying. Satisfactory, I did all of them, but those were also very doable. The only one that's kind of annoying was by the golden nut statue. You had to farm a bunch of stuff, but by the time I finished the game, it was only like an extra 25 to 30 hours, but not of gameplay. I basically just set it up and let it run, so it didn't take that long. Vermintide, that one kind of did take a while, but wasn't too bad. Corner Pond actually took me a while. It's 350 hours. It was just an idle game. But that one took a while. Dynasty Warriors took me 120 hours, but those again were all doable. It didn't feel like I had to go out of the way to get them. Monster Hunter Wilds. Oh, I was like, wait, I got all the achievements. Yeah, I did. I farmed the crap out of that. Getting the miniature crown, all the miniature crowns and the large crowns took me forever too, but I did all the Monster Hunter Wilds one. Hades took a bit, but they didn't require you doing any of the high difficulty stuff. It wasn't too bad. Dragon Quest 11, actually, when I got all the achievements in that game, I still wanted to play in it. There was nothing left. That one wasn't too bad. Loop Hero did take a bit to do all the things, but that was still doable. Chained Echoes was a great game. I enjoyed that with doing it. It's just mainly if I still feel like there's something more to the game that's worthwhile to try to do the achievements, then I'll do them. Dave the Diver, I kind of felt like that was a little bit of a grind. Biomutant, I did have to go to New Game Plus just to get one achievement, but I just kind of skipped ahead and just ran to do it. Because I beat the game with like only seeing half the map. And so I had to just go and do some other stuff. Potion Crafter was a little bit of a grind. Dredge, I only had 27 hours to get that one. Terra Memoria was surprisingly easy to get all the achievements. Maneater, that actually is a really fun game if you're able to do it. Hot Papa Tuna. Solar 2 is good. Merchant's Disguise, that was actually a humble bundle game that I really enjoyed. And I didn't mind farming out the achievements. Room 3 was just kind of an accidental getting the achievements. Little Kitty Big City. I don't think I farmed with those. I think that was just kind of do everything. To the Moon, that one doesn't count. The achievement is beat the game. That's only one, which I kind of like, but sure. Yeah, I've done most of the rooms actually with all the achievements. And then Drop That Beat Like an Ugly Baby, I believe. Yeah, there's only one achievement in there, and I've only played the game for 30 minutes, and I got that achievement because I originally got that game for an ARG or something that they were doing at Portal 2 when it released. So that's the only time I've ever done that. So I like getting the achievements, but if it ends up being that the last couple are just like playing the game again fully, no. But like the Dynasty Warriors one, when I got all the achievements, I still wish I could have played that more. But there was literally nothing left to do. The achievements were to do everything in the game. Dave the Diver is kind of painful. Finished the main game, but not looking forward to raising 5 Gaio. Yeah, there was something I did to like make that easier. I can't remember what it was. But that game was fun. And I did appreciate in Dave the Diver that there was DLCs and no achievements tied to them. I am very frustrated when games add achievements over time. Don't. Or like attach the achievements to like DLC or something. I just don't like that. They did that to Borderlands 2. I had 100% on Borderlands 2 for like 7 years. And then suddenly they added a DLC, and one of the bits on there required you beating an enemy that required being in a group. And at that point, it was well past anybody playing. So now I'm stuck. And so I don't have 100% on there anymore, which is stupid. Freaking. I love the Borderlands series, but there's so much about that's like the way that they do things that frustrate the crap out of me. I have 32 perfect games, but like maybe 25% of those are games that give you all achievements for just playing through the story. Yeah, there's some of those. I like the ones that about half of them are tied to story. And then I would say like maybe 2/5 of the other ones are tied to just small somethings that you did in the game that were maybe outside the norm, but that you can still go back and do without playing through the whole game again. And then having like a couple extras that might require you to do a little bit of grinding, just to give that final little bit of like hoorah, like achievement to it. But I don't like the ones like with Zero Dawn where technically, and not Zero Dawn, Horizons, I got the achievement that says I got all the achievements in the game, but the DLC added New Game Plus, and so they added 3 achievements for the DLC, and those are the 3 that are not to me worth getting. Some people say if you kill Gaio, they respawn as a different one. Don't want to kill my bottlenose dolphin though. Yeah, I can't remember what I did for those. I looked up something. 24. I have like 3. But most of the games are the ones I've gotten the achievements are because there's something about the game I just wanted to keep playing. Like Deep Rock Galactic, I was just putting a lot of time into it. So over time, I think I was at 60 out of 69 on that one for like, 67 out of 69 for a long time, because I knew that getting the gold promotions for everybody was going to take time, just literally grinding. Once I got that, then I thought about trying to get the rest. Without a Paddle is actually super easy to get. It's just a unique situation. So once I was down to the last 2, that's where I was in a game with some people and I'm like, can we try to get this one? And I ended up getting it. And Satisfactory was just, I really enjoyed the game. So it didn't feel like as much of a grind to get the last bit. But again, it only took like maybe an extra 3 to 4 hours of playtime compared to 50 that Horizon would ask of me. That's too much. Just if I'm going for just the achievements, it's just not worth it. But the only thing in Horizons that I would want to play through again is that there's a choice on whether or not to kill somebody or not later in the game. And it would be nice to see how the story progresses if you, because I've saved them, if you kill them instead. But that's literally the end of the game, or towards the end of the game. I'm not going to go through to just figure that out. I'd rather just go on YouTube and watch it. Are ghosts just players in spectator mode? Why didn't they respawn? Of ghosts? Are ghosts just players in spectator mode? Yeah. Yeah. And actually the worst part is, they're not the players, they're not the players of the game. It's just people died. And when if somebody's playing a game and that person dies, that ghost is yanked into that computer, and then they are forced to replay for that person's amusement. So if a poor ghost in a gamer's household, horrible thing, very horrible thing. If you had somebody die in your house in the last like 24 hours, don't play Call of Duty. It could be traumatic for them. I have a game with like 6 optional DLCs and their achievements for each of them. Needless to say, I didn't make any effort to 100% the vanilla game achievements. Like, how many games? Can I see how many games that I have? Yeah, by achievement completion. I have so many that are close. Like, Drop Duchy. I'm 131 out of 133. One of those is pretty easy to get, but the other one just requires that I basically play the game like another 20 hours. It just says play this many rounds, but I'm at like 170 out of 250. I'm not just going to keep playing the game just to get through rounds. So I feel like it's there, and I haven't even installed it because I feel like I could potentially do it, but it sounds like such a grind. This Borderlands 2 with that bullshit. I don't know what I'm missing on Borderlands 3, but I'm probably not going to care about it. Horizons Forbidden West, and there's that on there. Banners of Ruin, I think I had to do something with the DLC. Braid, I have no clue because that was God knows how long ago. Wonderlands, that was tied to some really grindy crap. Not worth it. Dreamscaper, that was playing some really difficult crap. Entropy Center, I just felt the game was done. Chorus, that game I felt like was too long, and it felt like I played 18 hours, but it felt like I put way more time into that. What the Dub? What is What the Dub's achievements? Like, what do I have left on that? Play 5 games in a row with the same players. Oh, that's just giants. Play a game with the bad word filter on. That's easy. Play 10 games in a row with the same players. Play a game with max audience. That one would probably be the hard one. I think the audience is only like 12, but it would be tough. I kind of wanted to do all the Final Fantasy 15 achievements, but that required multiple playthroughs. Boomerang Fu, I didn't even watch the achievements. We just play it randomly as for multiplayer stuff. I almost wanted to do Final Fantasy 4, but again, all the Final Fantasies and all the Pixel remasters have an achievement that says open every chest in the game. I am not going to follow some like stupid walkthrough to ensure that I get every chest in the playthrough. That's kind of defeating it doesn't sound like a fun way to play. So I'm not going to do that. And I would never get every chest. Yeah, that from there, it just kind of goes downhill. Where's the... Oh, I thought one didn't load. So I like getting achievements. It's like, I'm big on doing, if you can do one thing and get 2 things, it's great. the game itself is already playing the game. That's the thing you're getting. But if you get an achievement along with it, it feels like you're multitasking. You're getting like a double thing. And so I like doing that. Plus, if you're enjoying a game, it gives you a different way to experience it with a like cake at the end. So I like that. Open every chest is in an open world game. Well, I mean, it's a narrative driven open world game. So it's going to try to progress you in certain paths, but and it's really annoying. Because like certain dungeons, once you're done with the dungeon, you're right, never go back there again. And so you can't get them. But that's why I don't want to follow some guide to ensure that I get every chest for the achievements. Cause then all I'm doing is I'm reading what I should do to play the game instead of just playing the game. You haven't played the Metro series? I have, but it really wasn't my thing. Those were like a suspense thriller jump scare thing, and on a lot of stuff, and I didn't get into it. I didn't try Metro Exodus. I think this is a newer one. I tried 2033, I think it is, and I played like for an hour, and I didn't get into it. I think I have Metro Exodus. I have so many games and I don't know why. Yeah, I have it. I don't know why. Like, I think it came with stuff. I have had, I have the original Exodus 2033 and Last Light complete. Never played any of them. Like, what was it? Yeah, I played 77 minutes, so just over an hour. You can't see up in that corner, but anyway. I've been doing like the Humble monthly bundle for like 3 or 4 years, and so I just get games. I originally didn't realize you could skip months on the monthly Humble bundle, to where if you're like, I don't like the games that they're giving you this month, I don't want them. I didn't realize you could just skip it. And then it would like delay your yearly thing. The problem is you don't get your discount resets, because you get like a 20% discount once you've been doing it for a year, and then that discount resets, and then you don't have it for a month until the thing kicks in again. But Humble Bundle charges you taxes, and Green Man doesn't. So Green Man's cheaper, even with the 20% on Humble Bundle. So just go to Green Man. And the 20% discount on max time on there is just a waste. Missable achievements. Yes, missable achievements is the worst 2 words that should ever touch. Like, it's so stupid. That was like with Horizons. I actually like that. There was no skippable achievements. You could do them all. The only problem is 3 of them you just can't do until you do a new playthrough. Exodus rewards you for taking your time and listening to all the conversations. There are a lot of voice conversations. That's actually one of the reasons I like Horizons, is there was at least 3 or 4 times where I stopped for 40 minutes for conversations, where there was so much to talk, but they're all fully acted, fully voice acted, with full facial animations. It was enjoyable to go 40 minutes listening to conversations. It wasn't like if you were in Skyrim listening to 40 minutes of conversations and then just blank face staring at you while they're talking. It was so much better. Horizons was gorgeous on everything. That's why I kind of like intended to try to do that. That's also why I kind of farmed equipment out. I thought if I get all the best equipment when I start over, at least I'll have a good start. But it just sounds like I don't know what my next game is going to be, though. I think yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking I might have to look at my wish list. I have a couple new games that popped up on there, and like I saw a new one for Against the Storm's coming out, the DLC for Bats in like 2 weeks, which would be pretty cool. Where was the 2 I just added recently? Oh, I love the name of this game. This PVKK. Where's the 2 I just added? I put them up here. Never's End I added just recently. Threads of Time looks like a really cool retro one, but I have so many to be announced ones. Drill Core just came out. That one looked really good. I want to play that one. And Deadweight I put a little bit ago on. Oh, was another one I think I put up higher. Oh, Expedition 33. I really want to play that one. That might be really quick on my list. I might have to do 33 soon. Yo, PVKK. I know, is that, it's not out yet though, right? Yeah, it's to be announced. I don't know. I saw something in about it and I'm like, oh, that actually looks kind of, it's a point and click thing, but it looks cool. I like it. Claire Obscure is good. I watch a YouTuber called Final Fantasy Union, and they cover mainly Final Fantasy stuff, but they actually were sponsored to do a review of that game. And that was probably one of the best reviews I've ever seen, because they basically actually played it and went into a lot of detail without talking about the story, about how things worked, how it related to Final Fantasy stuff a little bit. And it was kind of like the trigger that made me go, yeah, okay, I want to get that one. So, and it's not super long. It's like 30 hours. I like that. It's quite a good story. I've heard this story is the #1 part about it. So yes, I'm very interested on it. Papers, Please. I think I've played. I can't remember. I know. I'm pretty sure I own it. Yeah, I own it. I think I played it. No, I didn't. I guess I haven't played it. But I remember seeing something about it. It looks, yeah, I've seen something, but I know I had it. I have everything. If it's existed, I have it. Something about flipping switches and turning knobs, pushing buttons for a big boom, and getting a little ding for hitting a target just hits the dopamine receptors. No, actually, I like stories like that. There's something more to it, where it looks like something simple, but then there's something on top of it, and I think it looked kind of neat. Exodus rewards you for oh yeah, I already read that one. It's like what was the one game? It was a card game with like squirrels and stuff on it. It's a roguelike where you're doing like you have deer and whatever and wolves, and you're like in a forest with cards, and you're facing a guy kind of like on a card game, and he's kind of like some like shadowed whatever guy. Inscription, yes, Inscription. If it is that I like games like that where you look at the trailers and it looks like one thing, but then you kind of know that there's more to it, and then you just play it. And Inscription is one of those games that you need to know very little other than it's fun, and it's just deep. It goes so many directions. It's so good. I loved Inscription. How goes the animation work on this though? We were able to, well, I mean, Michael normally distracts me, so I still had my normal distraction, but got Rainbow
Promise you can.
done up until this point, because I mentioned before about as soon as you have one object interacting with another object directly, it gets complicated. So I paused. We're doing the animating to that keyframe so that I can get Scootaloo up to that point, and then I can kind of work them together, because it's going to get really complicated to yeet horse. But otherwise, yeah, we're everything up to this point has been mostly animated. This one, getting her to look correct on the fall and interact with the ground is going to be a little hard. Like even right now, it's kind of going a little slow. But I think if I arc it a little bit, I might be able to look it better. And getting her to interact with the ground in a legitimate, good looking way, that's going to be a little tough. Rainbow's not going to do anything. She's just going to stand there. So I'm not too worried on that. But then doing cleanup would be pretty easy. They're not moving too much. I don't have to worry about like animating a tail for, well, walking or any fancy movements or anything. So that should be pretty quick. Getting all the lighting done will also be kind of tough, because this is what the lighting on right now, but every time I look at it, I'm always feel like it's wrong. But a lot of it is just Scootaloo's older model. The lighting just feels off. It's lower quality. It doesn't look so good. I can probably clean it up a little bit by playing with some of these values. There's I don't think it's the SSAO that's eating in on the like edges here in the lighting. Some of it's just the shading on how the lights hit, and you can play around with eliminating shadows at very, very small distances to try to clean up some of those like hard edges in the models. And so I just need to play around with it. And I need to go and light the eyes because they look dark in these shots, and that is also frustratingly annoying. Yeah, cleaning up Scoot's fall animation seems like an interesting challenge. Kind of. Originally, I thought I could just copy paste. I have an animation already of like somebody kind of doing a face plant, but it's for the adult models. I don't have, or my library of model animations for the CMC is very much smaller, so I don't have anything for her. I'm basically just going to take the position that she is in here. And I think I even have her go into a second one. Yeah. So, and I only have her go into this, even though it's off camera, is because when you blend these two, I want to make sure that while she's moving off the camera from that position, that she's doing something. I'm basically just going to have her hand wave her way down using probably those two different cycles. An easy way to do it is you just load in like a run animation. But then instead of having it with the cadence, dump, 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 you just go dump, 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 so that there's more like a wave. And have her flail through the ground, hitting the ground to make sure that she hits like face first and then has kind of her butt fall behind and then have it like sink it down. I've done that before, so that shouldn't be too bad. I think the hardest part is going to be making the physics believable. It's not a super tall roof, and we originally thought about doing something else, like putting together a different scene for a taller roof, but I wanted to just use this building because it's so much cheaper in terms of resources, and the grass will not be there. If you go to console, there's a command of CL detail dist 0. I don't know if I typed that in right. Yeah. There. So it says whatever. It should have got rid of the grass. Getting rid of, I want to get rid of some of these other grass like things, but I'm less worried about that, and I'm gonna just put grass across the ground anyway, so these will look better. I think the main issue that these look bad is that they're not blended with their surface. They're just kind of flat there. But if I put some detailed grass across the ground, it look a little better. That also gets to be the problem. If I put detailed grass and she hits, the grass has to interact, and then also she probably at that height will like eat up the dirt a little bit. So I want to make dirt come up like she's actually putting herself in a little bit of a hole. That all just takes time. I'm not worried about it though. It's all doable. Just a thought, after the wait period of Scoots just laying there, what if from the distance we see Rainbow lifting her hooves up like miming flying? Maybe I could just find, because this is from the boys, I could just find audio of Homelander yelling like what the fuck, like angrily, and that, but then have it cut off right when she starts swearing, just for fun. Same voice, so it would work. I don't know how long I'm gonna sit with this like whatever thing. I kind of like the awkward amount of time that it keeps going, but I don't know if I want to have it be like too long. So I probably will have it go like to here, or just have it go to like 15 seconds of just staring there. It's one of those things that it's funny and then it gets awkward and then it gets funny again. Just got to figure out where that sweet spot is. Anyways, we're at time though. Let's see. See, Michael's not here. We had 23 people. Like, I don't get it. It was just me blabbing. Hey, if we have 23 people next time, I'm just kicking Michael off. No more Michael from now on. Like, happy birthday, Michael. You're fired. Yeah, that was why I mentioned it. Like, he's still expecting her to fly. Well, hello, Big Derp. My Big Derp's like, no, bring in Michael. If no more Michael, we go on strike. No, I think the only thing that's gonna make Michael stop coming to streams is if he has like a heart attack or something. Let's see, who have we not rated in a bit? Actually, I haven't been to Retro in a while. Oh, Scoot's taking that cookie. Damn it, Scoots. Get you. Yeah, I haven't done Peak because I'm too sick for Ninja Gaiden. Okay, that makes sense. What is Passionate About Ponies doing? Are they just doing Dr. Seuss? Actually, Nostalgia Times, yeah, they're doing that. Funny thing to try. Get like a pair of headphones and have it feed your audio back in, but put like a half-second delay on the audio that you hear of yourself back in your headphones. So you're not just hearing yourself directly. It's just, there's not just a tiny delay, but a decent delay, like half second, maybe not 1 second, but like half second. And then try reading Dr. Seuss, because of a lot of the same words and the rhyming words. And the fact that you're hearing yourself on a delay, you basically force yourself to stutter repeatedly because you're getting caught in like loops and based on what you're hearing and saying. It's very interesting to do. But anyway, we'll head over to Retro here. He's playing with Bear. Koger playing Repo and Jay Holler's playing something other than Final Fantasy. It's the first sign of the end days. Koger's been playing Repo for a while. Jay's been playing anything but Final Fantasy. It's anything other than Persona. He's a big Persona guy. I don't know why he's playing Metal Gear specifically. It's an old one too. That's what's kind of interesting. But yeah, we'll head over to Retro there. So like I mentioned, I will be out, or I'll be having stream on Friday and Sunday, but there will be no stream on next Tuesday. I will be back probably that Friday.
I'm British.
Yes, bye horse. Bye Biden. Bye Sir Edward. Bye Sunset. I feel like Mr. Rogers. Goodbye, friends. Dashi casually nomming on Cheez-Its. Casually? That's not casually. She's just going at it. She's gonna have like cheese-a-beaties. Diabetes for cheese. Oh, wow. Stretch. All right. Well, I will see you guys in a couple days. No Michael again on Friday. We'll manage. Have a good week and bye-bye.